I think we have time for some questions. Are there any questions out there? Steve?
25 plus years ago, we used to meet in Pahl Hotel, Pahl. That was torn down. Do you remember what was the reason for it? Was intended use after it was torn down?
It was blown up. I remember watching it. It was quite sad. Unfortunately, lots of times, most often, buildings come down because somebody's got what they think is a better idea for the site. And sometimes that's happened. Sometimes we're still looking at those empty buildings. But at that time, that came down before we had our downtown historic district. Right now, the buildings, the 43 buildings in it, really, they can be torn down, but it'd be quite difficult to do. They'd have to demonstrate economic hardship. But it's loss of buildings like the Cosmopolitan. I was sad to lose the Montgomery Ward's building that came down before it. At least in our downtown district, that really won't happen anymore. We have some certainty both for saving them and certainty for the owners to know that long-term the investment is the building that they have.
Good afternoon, Barbara. Thank you for a wonderful presentation. This was just phenomenal. Thank you. I have a question. I am the East Corridor Public Information Manager for the commuter rail project that will go from Denver Union Station out to DIA. And we're addressing several issues concerning asbestos. And I'm wondering how, with so many historical sites, how you address that in the past.
That's interesting. Our hazmat work for the Emerson School finished Tuesday. And there's a couple things with asbestos. Sometimes, if you're going to tear a building down, you have to remove it all because it goes airborne. If you're not, you can, in many cases, abate it in place and still meet all the codes. We actually removed it. We just had it all removed. We had the tiles removed. We had some of the wrappings around the old boiler removed. I was just in the building yesterday, and it's all gone. It cost us $18,000. That's not too bad.
Excuse me. I'm interested in, or was interested, I don't know your take on it, the IMPay building, the old May DNF,
Yep.
and I wondered what the history was behind that.
Right. One of the toughest sets of buildings that we struggle with in Denver and across the country, and I feel it almost as a personal failure. I also couldn't save Kurgan Hall, and I tried really hard to do it, is the modern buildings. We had a lovely reception at Kurgan Hall, and the folks who came? The people who did it, like Martin and Martin, and all the young people, but everybody else was like, oh, it's not old enough, it's ugly. The young 20-somethings, they love this stuff. And so I'm feeling like as some of those people get more engaged in preservation, we may have a broader voice. At the end of the day, we can't save anything that people don't want saved. When Central Bank came down, I had a woman yelling at me on the phone, why can't you save this building? But we didn't have that army of support for the hyperbolic paraboloid, and we lost it, which is unfortunate. One more?
I had a question. I heard that one of the Denver high schools has been retrofitted and remodeled. And is that part of what
North? I think you're talking about North?
I think it's North High
Yep.
School. Is
All the
that
windows
part
have been
of
redone?
What your organization does, or?
We are a huge proponent for the continued use of historic schools. Once again, Denver's really led the country in terms of, back when those schools were first built, the 4 major high schools, the Denver School Board, it's in their minutes saying we want them to be architecturally excellent and represent different periods of architecture. That's why the 4 schools are different architecturally. And I think Denver Public Schools' continuing commitment to their older and historic buildings and retrofitting them and continuing to use them is, again, a model for the country. We talk about it all the time.